Hello and welcome to an amazing podcast. This is D and Modi, and we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen episode blank.
Episode 10.
Awesome. That's what I meant
Transfiguration.
to say.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about it?
I liked the episode a lot. I'm glad we got to see Mahito fight someone who's like not a scrub, pretty much.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I really liked it. I liked.
Sorry, not Mahito. I meant to say
both.
what's his name? Nanami. Yeah, Nanami. Sorry.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was a nice little interaction between. We got to see more of One-Eyed McBangs. I cannot remember his name to save the life of me, even though I really like the character. Oh my god.
Oh, Junpei.
Junpei, yes.
And also, I'm like 90% sure this episode was the first time they ever said his name. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I know, same. We got a nice little interaction between Junpei and Itadori. I love the whole we got some nice character stuff between the Mahito and Junpei as well, and we even had a really awesome fight at the end of it. This show has such a good structure of the build-up episodes and the payoff episodes that, again, writing is so Emperor's New Groove meme, image, JPEG levels awesome. I love, the only thing I wanted to ask you was, I was thinking after watching, Hunter x Hunter of, multi-purpose, events. So, for example, you'll have some events where the two characters will fight, but then, they're secretly low-key setting up and, providing, setups to be paid off sometime in the future. I noticed that with the first Nanami fight and this fight, where in the first fight, we get a basic setup for his powers, and then in this fight, we see those powers being tested, and near the end, seeing a new level of them. Do you think it was too soon for, him to be powering up? Or do you think, it happened in a very well-paced way? Because I'm kind of leaning towards the latter.
I didn't think about it, but I guess the fact that I didn't think about it means that it was done in a well-paced way.
Excellent.
I think in general, I guess that's just what happens, right? Because back in episode 7 or 6 or whatever, we saw Gojo go crazy with his power. We saw a lot of it. So I do wonder if what that means for the future. Are they still holding back, or are we actually seeing the extent of their powers? I think we're probably still not seeing the extent of it, but it still is doing a good job of in terms of power scaling as usual, right? Because it would be kind of weird, I guess, if going against a special grade Gojo could just I guess he did beat him pretty easily, but he at least had to use his domain expansion. So I guess
plus he was Gojo, okay? He was Gojo.
Yeah. But a better example would be Nanami, because we see that he's going. Do we know what? I guess Mahito has to be a special grade class, right?
Yeah.
So we have Mahito going. We see that he can fend off a special grade class with just his basic powers, but if he actually wants to be one, he has to power up, which makes sense, I guess, since in this episode they explained how, if you're a class 1 sorcerer, that means that you can definitely handle class 1 curses. And so I guess if you're a class 1 as Nanami is, then going up against a special grade curse is kind of ambiguous. So it makes sense that he would have to power up and push his powers. I don't know if it'll be the limit, but at least push his powers to the edge to actually beat him. So I think it was done well.
Honestly, I love again, the characters in this show are all just really great. I love how Nanami was looking at the clock, trying to figure out what time he's supposed to get off and stuff. I literally thought it was going to be the kind of situation where, like, it hits 5 and he just goes for a straight yeet retreat. But I love how he, like, powers up because, like, yeah, if you're, like, working a shit job and you're forced to, like, work overtime, yeah, you're going to be pissed.
Who would have ever thought, like, going into overtime would sound so cool? Like, you see the clock hit 6 and he's like, he takes off the tie, he wraps it around, he powers it up a little, and he's like, I'm going into overtime. And it's just like, damn, okay, overtime, all right. Yeah, that was it. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What do you think his tie power is? Like, what do you think that's actually going to be? I don't want it to just be like, oh, he just, what's the word? Like, expels, like he just generates more cursed energy into his fist or something, or into his tie, and he uses that to fight or something. I would like there to be, like, kind of a power that kind of has, like, a system a little bit, kind of like his knife.
So, right now, I'm hoping it's the kind of thing where, like, he was, like, so constricted by the tie. Now that it's off, he can move more freely and fight better. But I'm also thinking that the whole ties do definitely play into his powers. Because they made a point to show off how his sword is, like, wrapped in, like, that cloth. But they never explained why it was wrapped in it. So I feel like that was another, like, seed planting moment.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. That's true. So, I think for the tie, it probably, since we saw, like, him wrap curse energy around the tie, I feel like he has some sort of specific power that has to do with it. And maybe it has to do with, like, a long range power. Like, maybe he turns it into a whip or something like that. I don't know. Like, to balance out the fact that his knife is more of a close range thing. But yeah, I never noticed the thing about the knife, the fact that it's wrapped. I feel like that's probably, like, another level of his power that we may not even see in this fight, which is that, like, if he unwraps his knife, it's over for you, like, you're dead or something like that.
I'm honestly I wonder if that's what it is, like, the fact that he's, like, going into overtime, he has to, like, wrap his hand up to, like, hold back some of the energy, because if he, like, just unwrap both his hand and his, like, blade, it's just like he just goes full on ham, or he just goes like berserk overpowered.
Okay, so you're saying that his tie might actually be restraining his power so he doesn't go too far, like.
Yeah, so, like, when he's when he goes overtime, it's like a 100-point boost, but when he wraps his, like, tie around his hand, it's like a negative 50% boost or something like that.
It sounds like, so do you think his whole thing about overtime is actually tied to his power? Because to me that just seems like a gag thing.
I think it's I don't think it's tied. I think he is fighting I think he is, like, increasing his power level a lot. But I also think, like, it might be the kind of thing where it's hard to control when you let so much of it loose. So he has to, like, so instead of, like, how, like, most anime characters, like, release limits to get more power, he actually adds more limits the stronger he gets.
That's actually very interesting. It would be really cool if that's how it went down. Do you think he is trying to capture? Do we know this? If he's trying to capture Mahito or just straight up kill him?
I want to say straight up kill.
Okay, all right. I feel like, don't you think it would be smarter to capture? At least be trying to capture.
How would you contain someone like that, though?
That's why I think, like, in this situation, actually, like, it doesn't actually, not that it doesn't make sense, but, like, I feel like there's a better way you could go about it. Like, in that situation, I would, like, say, okay, hold on, this guy is probably very strong, and I wouldn't see any reason to kill him, knowing that he has, like, accomplices and stuff like that, and like, it's obvious that there's, like, a larger plan at work, or maybe it's not obvious to them, right? But I feel like I would bring in Gojo and be like, okay, let's team up so that we can, rather than me having to go all out and kill him, let's team up so that we can capture him and like, question him and or something like that.
Dude, you know what I'm really looking forward to, or I'm really wondering right now?
What?
What's Mahito's domain expansion going to look like?
That is so true. I'm gonna guess that not only never mind. Do you have any thoughts what it could be?
I'm not sure. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is like an HR, like a PG-13 HR Geiger kind of like fleshy hellscape kind of looking thing. But I'm not sure. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see how that turns out, or how that pays off.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe he can, his domain expansion allows him to like shapeshift his environment, but that doesn't really make sense in the context of like the other domain expansion. So yeah, I'm not sure. And also, do you think like, I'm not really sure if the idea of how his curse arose from like people's fear of people, is that what it was?
Yep.
I feel like it's kind of a stretch to like for his power to be like he can pretty much, I guess maybe not. I don't know. He can like manipulate souls and stuff. I don't know.
I like it because as humans, and we always we have a really bad habit of demonizing other humans. Heck, you can see that in like American politics right now. So like the idea of a manifestation of like fear of humans being able to like twist other humans into like monstrosities fits incredibly well in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you totally changed my mind. Yeah, because he's literally turning people into like demons, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good point. I think overall his powers are actually like very versatile. Like I was actually really surprised when he changed his legs into horse legs. That's like, I was not expecting that. That makes me feel like his power is actually, it's gotta be one of the top. I would say it's probably only second to Gojo's from what we've seen so far. Because
he has the coolest power we've seen so far.
Yeah. Oh, I would still say Gojo's is cooler, even though I don't understand it as much. But I would definitely say his is he has like I said, the most versatile, and like you can do a lot with it. Like it seems like it has a lot of potential because he could, I mean, I don't know, like he could turn into like a lion or like a crocodile, or I don't know, like a lot of things. So yeah, yeah, his power is really interesting. Yeah. But I guess, do you think there are other people? It seems like from the way he described it, he can only attack. He can only really hurt you if you're not protecting your soul, and most people aren't. Do you think someone like, and it's clear that Nanami is, but only like a little bit, like subconsciously. Do you think Gojo would be like the type of person who is like aware of that stuff and would be protecting his soul, or no?
I think it would be a moot point because like you can't even like you couldn't even make physical contact with Gojo.
That's a good point. That's, who in the hell is gonna fight Gojo, honestly, like except for maybe Sukuna, like yeah. Yeah, let's do you have anything else you want to say about the fight? Because I wanted to talk a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm good.
Okay, yeah, because I want to talk about, honestly, to me the fight was like cool, but the more interesting part of the episode was actually Yuji and Junpei.
Yeah.
First of all, that was so funny when Yuji like pants the teacher.
Yep. It takes a true shonen protagonist to steal a fat man's pants.
Yeah. That part was really interesting to me. What do you think Junpei was gonna do when, like, do you think he was about to kill the teacher, and do you think he was gonna use cursed energy? And if so, what kind of cursed energy, how strong, all that?
I definitely think it was going, it's definitely clear that it was going to be a cursed energy kind of attack. But I think it was purposely left hyper ambiguous because all we saw him do was just like a simple pose. Like if it was something along the lines of like Mahito's ability, he probably would have reached out to like like physical contact with him. But I will say I am happy that I'm almost 100% sure that Junpei is going to be the first victim of the jump cycle, where he's going to be like a super like depressed, dark, nihilistic character, and then Itadori's going to come in with his like protagonist powers and the strength of the flat character arc to change him for the better.
That's funny you say that, because I was just about to ask, like, do you think he'll go more evil or go good? I think he's gonna go more evil. I think this is gonna. Here's my prediction. Yuji's gonna pull him aside. They're gonna talk, and Junpei's gonna realize like this guy is pretty much out to get Mahito, and they might even scuffle a little bit. Yuji's gonna realize that Junpei is actually stronger than they expected, and the fight is gonna disperse somehow. Like it's not gonna be resolved then, and Junpei is gonna go back to Mahito. I don't think Mahito's gonna die here or get captured by Nanami. By the way, so he's gonna go back to Mahito, and he's gonna like train or something, and he's gonna be like in My Hero, he's gonna be like what's his name?
Shigaraki.
Like the apprentice. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be like Shigaraki. Like he's gonna be like the apprentice, and he's gonna learn, and he's gonna be like the human on the other side who's like really strong, like the counterbalance to Yuji. I feel like that's gonna be like Yuji's rival, kind of.
It's funny when like the moment it's funny you mentioned Shigaraki, because I kept picturing like Mahito as like a version of Shigaraki that went to college in a very like heavy marijuana state, and then finally learned to chill the hell out. Like he feels like Shigaraki like right out of his like edgelord phase, and is now is like in his like chill adult phase.
Life is meaningless, so you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
That Rit Sanchez like philosophy. Like I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to have you're going to have a moment where Itadori and Junpei like have their talk. They're going to split apart. It's going to like make Junpei question things. He's going to like reunite with Mahito, and then there's going to be like he's going to undergo like a negative character arc where he like sinks deeper in darkness. Then you're going to have like the final battle with like between him and Itadori, and at the end of it, Junpei's going to like realize the power of friendship, and he's going to end up joining like the Jujutsu Kaisen Academy.
Okay, I kind of agree with you on a long scale. I feel like on the long scale that he'll probably turn good. But I don't know, maybe I'm jumping the gun. I probably am, but I'm getting a feeling of like Junpei being a long game villain. Like he's not just going to be a arc 1 villain. He's going to be like a whole story, and if he does ever turn good, it'll be like literally at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. But that's just wild speculation, honestly, because I have no idea. He could literally just like be gone 2 episodes from now, so who knows.
You see, I feel like that would work well, but the fact that in the ending scene you see him like sitting with like Itadori in like the school uniform, I think what's going to happen is what he's going to become like the villain of the season at the end and the season's going to end with him like joining up with the main protagonist.
Oh, okay. You see, I didn't even realize that was in the ending. So, all right, I'm throwing that all out the window. I guess he probably is going to turn good. I really hate when it's a good thing I'm not like an attentive person, because I probably like miss a lot of spoilers that are shown in openings and endings. But I hate when they just show stuff like that in openings and endings, because it just anyone who's actually paying attention, they'll be able to figure out what's going to happen pretty easily, like you know.
Especially since like they play it every episode twice. Like you get like one set of it with the opening, and then you have another set of it with the ending.
Wait, is Junpei also in the opening?
No, he's I think he's at the end. I can't remember, but there's a scene either at the end of the opening or at the end of the ending, where you see him like sitting with everyone. And it's like this super happy looking scene.
Okay, that's probably the opening.
Yeah.
Then I would say that's probably the opening. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's gonna happen. But then I guess while we're making predictions, then do you think season 1 will be the end of the Mahito slash Jogo slash all those other guys storyline, or do you think they're also gonna be long game villains?
So I definitely think that's a tough question, because I definitely think like the group of villains we were first introduced to, they're definitely the Akatsuki of this series. So I don't think they're all gonna get like taken out at once. But I also that's a tough call.
Okay, so you think like a couple of them are gonna be taken out in like the first arc, or like one?
I don't think any of like. I think the moment that entire group gets taken out will be the moment the series ends. It's like the whole like whatchamacallit, the 12 moons from Demon Slayer, the Akatsukis from like Naruto. So it's like they're going to slowly get whittled down. And if there's anyone who's going to be like if any of them get taken out this season, or if there are any of them that are going to be like the final boss of the season, I think it would be Jogo.
What about Mahito then? Because if we know Junpei is going to turn over to the good side, I guess, I feel like that would go hand in hand with them defeating Mahito. Or you don't think so?
He's too big of a character, though. Like, he's the representation of all, like, human hatred and evil, like... And plus, he's the only other, like, humanoid curse we've seen so far, so he's going to be either last boss or second to last boss.
There's the other guy, man, I forgot his name. The guy who did that attack last year, and like he was also watching the fight on the cliff, and he was like, I have to go because they'll recognize me.
Yeah,
that
like,
guy.
I'm guarantee you that those two are going to be like the final boss, whichever, like the one that will be the literal, like,
aside from Sukuna.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That's like saying like, I feel like assuming Sukuna is the final boss would be like assuming that the Nine-Tailed Fox would be the last boss of Naruto.
I don't think so, because the whole plot purpose of the series is to gather all the like things like the Sukuna's fingers and kill him. So like the whole plot revolves around Sukuna. But it wasn't really the same with Naruto, I would say.
Man, they went with that finger plot point for 4 episodes, and they just dropped that.
I think it's gonna come back. I'm sure you do too.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they're not it's not going straight into that plot line, because I feel like I guess it would kind of get boring if if you just did only that at the beginning. And there's also a lot of world building that needs to be done and stuff like that. So I'm okay with that plot line getting drawn out, I guess. And I'm sure even this is gonna play into that as well. So there's still like so much mystery around it. Yeah. So. All right. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the episode. Do you have anything else to say? All right. What would you rate it?
8.5. Solid. You know what? If I'm like completely giving in to like, if I was like just completely to like, if I was to completely give myself into the hype, I would probably say 8.9 or 8.7. But I think at my most cynical, I would give it an 8.5.
I liked the episode, but I didn't feel like necessarily any hype towards it or anything. I would probably give it like a 7 or 7.5. Maybe like a 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, the character building was great. And then like the fight was again really awesome. So
for me, so I guess I can talk about this a little bit. the fight was, it was good, but it wasn't like that interesting to me necessarily. You know, it was like,
Right.
yeah, I wasn't like that invested in it. It was like, it was just a pretty decent fight, and I'm glad that I got to see more of, like I'm glad that Mahito and Nanami's powers got established, but it wasn't like that great of a fight to me. Maybe it'll get, I mean, I'm sure it'll get better next episode too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, 7.5 from me. So yeah, that's been our review of episode 10 of Jujutsu Kaisen. As usual, thanks for watching, and come back next week. Bye.
Bye.